Hello, everybody, and thank you for clicking on this episode of American Doofus After Dark, Doofus After Dark, and we are going to be talking about the concept of woke. What does woke mean? And we will get to that, but right now let's start out with the headlines from around mainstream media. CNN exclusive: U.S. government agencies have been hit in a global cyber attack. We'll have a little bit more on that coming up. NBC News: Supreme Court delivers a win for Native American tribes in adoption cases. Once again from CNN, maybe they don't exist. Republicans question the legitimacy of alleged audio. And just to pull that out, maybe they don't exist, quote unquote. Republicans question the legitimacy of alleged audio recordings of a Biden bribery scheme that has been making the rounds and under investigation, and maybe they don't exist. There's a thought. From the BBC News: a Greece boat disaster. The capsized boat had 100 children in the hold, in the cargo hold, as well as the packed decks that we saw in the videos. There were 100 children in the cargo hold down below. That's according to the BBC. The New York Times: at the heart of the documents case, Trump's attachment to his boxes. And Fox Weather: renewed significant severe weather event threatens nearly 20 million across the south. That goes from the north and east of Texas, the south of Oklahoma, into the south of Arkansas, the north of Louisiana, and it goes across the south of Alabama, Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia, as well as the north of Florida. A massive weather event on tap to happen tomorrow. And that's a look at our headlines. Before we jump into all of this news, I want to play a little something here. This is from a movie called Panic in the Year Zero. Now, this movie was I think it was made in 1960, right before the Cuban Missile Crisis. It is the aftermath of a nuclear attack on the United States, and how quickly society devolves. And something caught my ear towards the end of this movie. Let's listen.
Give her over 2 weeks. Now, don't rough him around. This patch job I did might not hold.
Can't you come with us?
No, my people are starting to come back. They're going to be needing me. Somebody has to keep the shin bone connected to the thigh bone. And even if I went along, there's not much more I can do for him. It's only a matter of time now, and prayer.
I'm sorry, Doctor, I can't pay you. I haven't got any money.
Money is one of the first symbols that disappeared. Tell you what I could use, though. Some ammunition, if you can spare it. I have a .45 to you.
Oh, I only have a few. I can let you have 4.
Don't short yourself now.
That's all right. The war's over. We won.
Well, ding, ding for us.
You have a twisted sense of humor.
Would you feel better if I told you that unless this boy has a transfusion within 3 hours, he's going to die? Now, you stay on the back roads, and you keep your gun handy. Our country is still full of thieving, murdering patriots.
And that's what caught my ear. Back in 1960, the movie uses the dialogue, "Our country roads are full of thieving, murdering patriots." Just something to think about. U.S. government was hit with a global cyber attack. They were part of an attack that went global. Several U.S. federal government agencies hit by a vulnerability widely used in specific software called Move, M-O-V-E, right here. Move It applications is the, right there, is the software in question. It's not immediately clear if the hackers responsible were a Russian-speaking ransomware group that claimed credit for numerous other victims in this hacking campaign. So, as of right now, early on, not a lot of information about it. However, the U.S. federal government, several federal government agencies have been hit by a global cyber attack. What the ramifications are of that, we will see. All right, let's run down through our Twitter bookmarks here real quick. First of all, we had a tweet from former President of the United States, Donald Trump, just a few minutes ago, about an hour ago. So now that everyone understands that the Presidential Records Act plus the Clinton Sox case, big case, totally exonerated me from continuing witch hunt brought on by corrupt Joe Biden, the DOJ, deranged Jack Smith, and the radical left, Marxist thugs. When are they going to drop all charges against me, apologize, and return everything that was illegally taken, Fourth Amendment, from my home? This was nothing other than election interference. Once again, he cannot keep his mouth shut, and he has indeed just basically said, yeah, he had it all there. He took it all, and he's still okay with it. Okay. The House GOP releases its budget, and it would, quote, destroy Social Security as we know it, end quote. If you're okay with that, okay. If not, you better know who you're voting for. This article comes some stunning figures. Inflation is at 9% in Miami, almost 2 times the national average. DeSantis passed a $1 billion tax cut to corporate donors and sales tax holidays. And immigration bill is set to kill over 100,000 jobs. This is from Washington Monthly. Ron DeSantis is not a competent governor. You might want to consider that if you're choosing him to be your presidential candidate. Penn State professor has been charged with having sexual intercourse with his colleague. The Penn State professor charged with having sexual intercourse says he, quote, I do it to blow off steam, end quote. According to what the professor told officials during his investigation for bestiality. We're going to take a minute and do something we have never done yet on this show, and we're going to listen to Charlie Sheen. The reason? Well, you'll find out here very soon. Let me make sure we got the volume up, and we do, and let's roll. That was from the Graham Norton show. Again, just an experience Charlie Sheen happened to have with the former president of the United States and the hero to a shrinking number of people. And I've got a story to tell about that coming up. Okay, it seems like the Publix heiress, the woman that is going to inherit the Publix grocery store fortune, gave millions more than previously known to organize the January 6th, what they are referring to as Trump rallies. So, be interesting to see how that plays out. We got a story coming up about Don Jr. and coming up here relatively quick. I'm beginning to hate the Discord notifications because it's just almost nonstop. Sorry. Rudy Giuliani says that the GOP witness who had all the information regarding the fake Biden bribery scheme, the bribery scheme where there aren't any tapes, well, the witness died, okay? So, and of course, you know, the left or the right is going to say Hillary Clinton killed him, I'm sure. A judge this came in early this afternoon in regards to Don Jr. Judge unseals a bombshell set of emails that were sent by Donald Trump's son, Trump Jr., in which he launches racist attacks against Mexicans and black New Yorkers. Hang on a second here, let me open this up so we can all see it. In the exchange, he encouraged the Mexicans to come to the U.S. and give them another excuse to not learn English. When I have to speak to my grandchildren in Spanish, at least I know I will have you to thank. Trump Jr.'s friend responded with, "Stop this wetback issue dead in its tracks." And in another email exchange, Trump Jr. attacked black New Yorkers, declaring that Upper Manhattan had so many black residents that now it looks like Harlem, and he can hear the theme song of the Jeffersons playing in the background. So, just a couple of little things that maybe you did not know, but might have suspected about the junior of the two Don Trumps. 76% of Americans do not have a positive view of MAGA Republicans, who get 90% of the media's attention. Don't believe the narrative that our country is evenly split politically. I told you this the other night, that the media needs to stop saying we're evenly divided on this issue. We're not. We're not even close to evenly divided on this issue. This is, here's the article. President Donald Trump is still unpopular, and so is the political movement created in his image, according to a new national NBC News poll. Again, it's from NBC News. Now, why did I say, I said I got a story to tell you. A guy that lives down the street from me has had a Trump flag flying on his porch for as long as I've been here. And he took it down and tossed it away. He read the indictments, and he's a former Marine. And people are learning. People are learning. This is just beyond me. A MAGA pastor in Nashville, far-right Nashville pastor Kent Christmas, told his congregation Christians need people who are willing to strap bombs on their chests like the Muslims. Again, I don't make this stuff up. I just point it out to you and let you decide what to think. My daughter, this is from True Blue Democracy. My daughter was sentenced to 5 years in prison for releasing a single document from the National Security Agency that had proof that there was a threat to our voting system from the Russians, and in order to quench it, she has been imprisoned since then. Her name's Reality Winner. If you're not familiar, look up her story. Okay, there are some secret tapes of Ted Cruz plotting to overthrow the 2020 election with Fox News, Maria Bartiromo, and those tapes have been indeed subpoenaed by the one and only Jack Smith, a name you're going to be hearing an awfully lot in the near future. Either the FBI, the DOJ, the DOJ, the entire court system, and the media, as well as the Republican Party, are involved in a vast conspiracy, or Trump is lying to you. Okay? Something to think about. After Trump's arraignment, he stopped at Miami's popular Cuban restaurant, Versailles, and promised supporters he was buying, quote, food for everyone, end quote. Remember the Trump diamond platinum cufflinks he gave to Charlie Sheen? Well, turns out he left without paying for a single item. Just something to think about. This is some serious things to think about. Strong tornado near Newton, Georgia. This came in yesterday from Jordan Hall, who was riding along with Reed Timmer And we've got another tornado from Reed coming up here in just a couple of minutes. Just to remind everybody, tomorrow, Friday, will be a very serious, it's a day to be weather aware. If you are in North or Eastern Texas, if you're in South Oklahoma, if you're in South Arkansas, if you're in Northern Louisiana, if you're in Southern Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, or if you are in Northern Florida, the conditions tomorrow should be possibly historic when it comes to spawning tornadoes. All the conditions are right. Just be weather aware if you're in that area. Another Don Jr. entry. Jr.'s complaining about other Republican candidates getting a lot of big donors and corporate money that Trump needs, and he's worried that Trump won't have enough money left to take on the Democrat nominee in November. They don't want Trump to win, and these are the Republicans. Yeah, a lot of the Republicans do not want Trump to win, because if he wins the nomination, every independent in the country will vote against him, and just to punish the Republicans, vote against every single Republican. Here's the other look I had from Reed, Dr. Reed Timmer. And this is a tornado passing by relatively close, as you can see, to where he was. Again, Reed Timmer. You can find him on YouTube. You can find him on Twitter. And meteorologist, extreme weather meteorologist. A little bit of good news if you're a Rubik's Cube fan anyway. This young man right here, he just broke the Rubik's Cube world record yesterday. And you'll see he's examining it. Okay, gets a good look at all the sides. Sets it back down. And he's ready to start and go. And 3.134 seconds later, 3.134 seconds later, he solved it. And
okay, you want to take a picture with me?
Here we go. Just want to show you this.
You want to take a picture with me? A total?
Disgrace to the world.
Let's just do it and then be done, okay? You want to take a picture with me? A total?
Disgrace to the world.
Let's just do it and then be done, okay? You want to take a picture with me? A total?
Disgrace to the world.
Let's just do it and then be done, okay? You want to take...
Okay. Out of the mouths of babes is what the what that particular tweet was titled. Out of the mouth of babes. You want to take a picture with me? Little girl says you're a disgrace to the world. And that's her opinion, and a whole lot of other people. Donald Trump supporter and January 6th organizer Ali Alexander has been accused of grooming teenage boys. MAGA can't stop molesting children. This comes from advocate.com. Donald Trump supporter Ali Alexander accused of grooming teenage boys. The right wing claims to worry about liberals grooming kids, but it's actually a far-right extremist who's been asking kids for sexually explicit pictures, and a lot of them. You know, one of the things about propaganda, accuse the other side of that which you are doing. This is our doofus of the week thus far. The guy decided he was going to vault over a fire, and the other guy come from the other side, decided he was going to jump at the same time. I don't know if this was an attack. If this was, I'll show you. Okay, I finally got you where you want. Finally got you where I want you. I'm going to put you into the fire. But at any rate, do not do this. It's a doofus thing. This is what we call a meme. And it says, "Make America Great Again" in the red hat. The book is titled, "Why Donald Trump is Being Prosecuted for Crimes." Inside the book you find because he committed crimes. The MAGA hat, it makes no sense. Yeah, okay, and I think that's pretty accurate. Our final,
worry no more. Introducing
our final is an advertisement, if you will. Machiavelli. Oh, here we
Are you
go.
suffering from Trump arraignment syndrome? Do you find it hard to accept that your favorite former president might have committed a few, oopsies? Well, worry no more. Introducing Trumpetol, the only medication specially designed for MAGA Republicans who just can't accept that Trump is a criminal. With Trumpetol, you'll experience a complete denial of reality right when you need it the most. Trumpetol specifically targets areas of your brain so that you'll be convinced it was all a deep state conspiracy, a witch hunt, or maybe just a huge misunderstanding. Thanks to Trumpetol, I don't have to read any of those dumb indictments. I mean, who needs the truth when you got a pill? Trumpetol is not responsible for any side effects, such as strained relationships, ignoring facts, losing touch with reality, or an uncontrollable sexual attraction to your own daughter. But hey, that's a small price to pay for your unwavering devotion. So if you're tired of those pesky legal proceedings and those annoying voices that tell you truth matters, look no further. Trumpetol is here to help.
There you go, Trumpetol. You might recommend that to any family or former friends. That came from Gabe Sanchez on the Twitter, and that's going to wrap up our Twitter feed for the day. Real quickly, we're going to touch on woke. Woke is something we hear a lot. Somebody's woke. Somebody's anti-woke. Somebody's woke, and woke's a bad thing. So what's it really mean? Well, as we see here, woke is an adjective, and it's derived from the African American vernacular English, AAVE, and it means alert to racial prejudice and discrimination. All right, that was the term up until maybe, well, the next article says 2010, so 15 years ago. Woke began to have a little bit more of a different connotation, and basically the white community stole the word from the black lexicon, as often happens with many words. This comes from Wikipedia. Woke is an adjective derived from African American vernacular English, meaning alert to racial prejudice and discrimination. Beginning in the 2010s, it came to encompass a broader awareness of social inequalities such as sexism, and has also been used shorthand for some of the ideas of the American left involving identity politics and social justice. Some of those terms, white privilege and slavery reparations for African Americans. This is according to the Wikipedia. The phrase stay woke has history in the AAVE as far back as the 1930s, in some contexts referring to awareness of the social and political issues affecting African Americans. The term emerged in the 2010s and increasingly meant not only racial consciousness, but also that of gender as well as other discriminated identities. So basically, if I get this right, and somebody is woke, then they are aware of things like history and injustices and inequalities. And if somebody thinks being woke, being aware of those things is a bad thing, what does that make them? Well, in many situations, those kind of people are termed fascists. Is that legitimate? Let's take a look at this quick little segment here from the channel Second Thought. This is American Fascism and the Groomer Panic.
This episode is brought to you by Nebula.
We must fight the woke in our schools. We must fight the woke in our businesses. We must fight the woke in government agencies. We can never, ever surrender to woke ideology.
Okay, so he is saying you cannot surrender to woke ideology. We just defined what woke ideology is. It's being aware. It's acknowledging that there are injustices. There are mistreatments. There are two sets of rules in many and most cases. And we're seeing that right now. Again, with what's going on with the former president. If it was anyone else that had committed such acts, if anybody else shows a map to Kid Rock, they're never getting out. They're never seeing the light of day again. It's just utterly amazing to me, but I'm not going to get fixated on Trump. But think about what you are saying. If you're saying you are anti-woke, or if you're dissing on somebody for being woke, what is that really saying to them about you?
And I'll tell you this, the state of Florida is where woke goes to die.
For over a year now, conservatives have been pushing a familiar narrative. Random people who are part of or considered to be in proximity to the LGBTQ community, trans women especially, are being accused of recruiting children into being gay or trans and labeled as groomers.
For grooming. Groomers.
We've seen this narrative played out many times throughout history. But before we go into how this rhetoric works, it's important to be clear about its consequences. Because recently, violence against the LGBT community and anyone seen to be supporting it has been rapidly escalating. 2022 was a horrible year for violence against the LGBTQ community. Groups like the Proud Boys and Patriot Front have been showing up armed outside of drag brunches more and more frequently. Many LGBT teachers and parents have been doxxed and harassed after videos of them were posted online to millions of angry conservatives on accounts like Libs of TikTok. And of course, November saw the horrific shooting at the gay bar Club Q in Colorado. Hundreds of events have had to be canceled because of threats, and anti-LGBT legislation, specifically targeting the trans community, has been on the rise. For the graph people out there, in 2022, the ACLED found that since 2020 and 2021, anti-LGBTQ political violence, demonstrations, and the involvement of far-right militias in anti-LGBT activities have all gone up, with over 200 incidents last year alone. For yet another consecutive year, hate crimes of this kind are going up, and the increase in anti-LGBTQ rhetoric has a lot to do with it.
I'd highly recommend everyone watch the remainder of this. Again, the video is called American Fascism and the Groomer Panic. It is on the Second Thought channel. The danger of the path that many people are taking now. There are a number of people that are placing all of their eggs in one basket, and that basket is the basket of Donald Trump. And the organizations may not be as big or as powerful as they might lead themselves to believe. And before anything goes too far off course in our country, let's take a look at words. Words like woke, words like fascist. What do they mean? Woke? Well, woke means, as we said, being aware, acknowledging that there is disparities, that there are discrepancies, that there are injustices. Acknowledging that the black community is made up of human beings. I know that's a big stretch for some people, as unbelievable as it is in 2024, 2023. Acknowledging that the LGBTQ community is made up of human beings. You don't have to like any of them. You don't have to date any of them. You probably don't ever even have to talk to any of them. But ask yourself, why do you want to kill all of them? If that's you. Just something to think about. We'll be back live real soon. Thanks for tuning in.